I'd much rather be there right now.
They don't call it a sonic boom for nothing. Sonic is reborn for the next generation, and this time, speed won't be enough. It'll take an all-out force of nature.
Lord, give me the strength. Good evening, people of the future. Yeah, pre-recording again. I am currently in Florida celebrating my grandma's 90th birthday, so I got a pre-recording for you guys, and tonight we are finally playing that game. You guys hear the music, you can see the gameplay footage. It is finally time to cover Sonic 06. Joining me tonight, primarily for the purposes of keeping me sane, is my good friend, the MLG Panda, Steffi.
Hey everyone, I'm here, and hopefully I can keep Jager sane. I don't know how much good I'll be able to do. He's been dreading doing this game for pretty much since he started the Sonic retrospective, I'd say.
Man. Alright, Steffi.
We're gonna get through it together.
Yeah. So, what do you know about this game, Steffi, before I give the tale of the tape?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with this game. It's infamous for looking bad, playing bad, and having a pretty bad story. As far as the actual development info, I'll leave that to you. I don't really know a lot about it. I just know my experiences during it, so I'm not sure if you're ready for me to share that now.
Okay, so the tail end of the previous generation of consoles at the time, GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox, it was sort of a rough time for Sonic. Shadow the Hedgehog was just a really awkward game for Sonic Team, and Sonic Riders, while not terrible, wasn't much better. A lot of fans at the time were just begging for Sega to just do another game like Sonic Adventure, and it seemed like they were planning to do that in, what was it, E3 2004, 2005. They started showing off what would eventually become Sonic 06. And they were referring to it as the next generation Sonic, the next Sonic Adventure. All the promos that they had for it looked amazing. The trailers looked awesome. The music was great. It was just something that got every Sonic fan in the world excited, myself included. I'm sure you were excited about it too. But to quote the Angry Video Game Nerd, it was like waiting for a buffalo to just take a dump all over you. Behind closed doors, development on this game was just a mess. It started development under the guidance of Yuji Naka, but at some point during development, he ended up resigning from Sega and taking a lot of his development team with them. So the game fell to the younger generation of programmers, and that team ended up dwindling even more when it was decided to split the team up to work on a game for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, as well as a version exclusive to the Nintendo Wii. Development did not go smoothly. They did not have a clear vision for the game. And Sega just would not allow them extra development time because they were obsessed with getting this game out in time for Sonic's 15th anniversary. So when the game came out, it was universally panned by critics. And people who remember my blog and actually read the stuff I wrote are probably aware of the fact that Sonic 06 holds the distinction of having the lowest score I ever gave to a video game on the blog. I despise this game. Okay, so I need a moment to calm down, Steffi. So what are your memories on this game? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I I remember seeing all of the concept art and the demos and the teaser trailers and everything before we really saw much of the game. And I remember, like, whoa, this looks so cool. I'm so excited because I was on that train of, yeah, I want another Sonic adventure. They're finally giving us one. And I remember being upset because I did not have a PS3 or an Xbox 360. I had a Wii. And I know you said that originally they were going to release this game on Wii. Well, that never happened. So I remember asking my mom if I could get an Xbox 360 for Christmas, and she was like, "You're not getting an Xbox just for one game." And I was pretty mad. But, I mean, I don't think I miss anything.
You most certainly did not. And I honestly don't even want...
Jaeger.
I honestly don't even want to play this game, Steffi. And I know, like you keep telling me, once I do this, I'll never have to play the game again. But I guarantee, as soon as that, what's it called, Sonic PN06 comes out, people are going to beg me to take a look at that too. So, I just really hate this. Let's just get it over with. Let's just get it over with. Let's just
go into it.
As to how I'm going to be playing this game, I'm going to be playing this on the PlayStation 3, which was what the game was originally developed for. And one of the mistakes that they made during development with Sonic 06, Steffi, was that they, in essence, weren't sure what the development specs were going to be, so they basically guessed. But rather than aim to underestimate, they overestimated, so that certainly didn't make things any better. Also didn't help that the PlayStation 3 was just a mess to program for in general, so that certainly didn't help anything. And yes, I am...
Look at this picture right here for the game. Like, that looks so good, and that was what they advertised that this game was going to be, that it was going to look like that.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, Steffi. We are getting ahead of ourselves. Mm-hmm. Though I would not mind just dawdling on that. I don't want to play this. Sonic Team. This was the game where they got their head stuck up someone's ass. And unfortunately, it wasn't even the right ass that they got their head stuck up.
Immediately from the title screen, it looks like shit.
Honestly, I don't think this title screen looks that bad. The graphic design is fine, the colors are nice, but what bugs me is that they couldn't even be bothered to come up with a title for the game. It's just Sonic the Hedgehog. And because of that, we universally refer to it as Sonic 06. It's like, I'm glad they didn't call it Sonic Adventure 3, but could you have called it something other than Sonic the Hedgehog? Like, damn.
They should have put, like, Next Gen or something like that, because that was the reason that they called it just Sonic the Hedgehog, because they wanted it to be the next generation of Sonic.
I call bullshit on that. They called it Sonic the Hedgehog because they were a couple of months out from release, and they had no name for it, so they just said, just call it Sonic the Hedgehog. They completely forgot to name the game. That is probably what happened. And I know it's just speculation, Steffi, but would you be surprised?
I mean, seeing as what the final product is, no.
Alright, so just like with the adventure games, we're going to show you a little bit of each of the three main characters. So we're going to start with my boy Sonic. And credit where credit's due, this is actually a beautifully rendered opening cutscene. I mean, look at that water, dude. That is just gorgeous. Yeah, the frame rate's a little slow.
That's where all the budget went.
And that's a terrible design right there, but, like, this locale just looks beautiful. It's fantastic.
Yeah, this is the part of the game where everyone thinks that we're playing Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah. Some beautiful art direction there. Elise's design notwithstanding. I'm not sure what's up with that dress. I definitely am getting a Final Fantasy vibe from that. I do half expect Sephiroth to pop up.
Miss Elise? It's all right.
Seriously, that's the voice you're going with, Sega?
We give thanks for the blessed flames. May we always continue.
For the record, it's still the 4Kids cast, and they do not have the acting chops for what Sega had in mind here.
I didn't know they used the 4Kids cast for this game.
Oh, yeah. Too bad that didn't kill her. Oh yeah, I just remember we're playing a Sonic game, aren't we?
A pleasure to meet you at last, Princess of Soliana.
And people have mixed opinions on this depiction of Eggman here, but I don't think that's actually a bad design for what they're going for. They're trying to make him look more consistent with the human characters in this game, which are realistically depicted. But I don't think they did a bad job with Eggman here. I mean, it looks more like Eggman than... Go ahead, Steffi.
I always liked the way they designed him in this game. I mean, I think it fits for the game.
And also, that was a cool appearance for Sonic right there. And like, I remember seeing this as a kid. I just got so excited. It's Sonic! Look at him!
I'm Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog!
Just with the music and everything, like... This is what I wanted the Sonic movie to look like.
That would have been pretty cool.
Wanted it to sound like, too. And that's probably the best delivery for Silver there, too. He is awful throughout this game. And that was the best part of the game, too.
Yep, that is what they spent all of the budget on.
Oh, man. And then we get into the in-game graphics. I mean...
No special reason.
Like, right off the bat, the art design here is just awful. Because, like... The humans are depicted in a realistic manner, and because of that, they just do not mesh with Sonic and his friends. It just is so jarring. And it also doesn't help that with these graphics, the characters end up falling into the uncanny valley, so Elise, she's a bad design in general. She looks even worse in-game. I mean, like... Ugh. I haven't even pushed a button yet, and this game is already pissing me off, Steffi.
We're gonna get through it.
You can hold on to it for me.
But yes, I agree that Sonic and his friends and even like Eggman's robot here, like they're too cartoony for the realism they were trying to do in this game. Like it does not blend well.
Yeah, and it gets even worse, but we will get to that. Oh, we will get to that. Hey, Sonic, you can run faster than the speed of sound. Why don't you go after him?
No, he's just gonna stand there and watch.
People are either gonna find this really irritating me watching me suffer play this, or they're just gonna have the same reaction when I ripped apart the Sonic 3 movie.
I guess we'll see.
I need to gather some information.
Okay, so right away, all the momentum we had with that opening is killed because instead of heading straight into a boss fight or an action stage like in the adventure games, We're dropped into a freaking hub world with no idea where we're supposed to go. I mean... Damn.
Oh, it's Tails.
Yeah, what's Tails doing here? These load times too, man.
Sonic!
Tails, long time no see.
I'm glad you're here. I
And
heard that you
they're
tried
still
to steal
using
princess
the
from
motion
Tokyo.
capture, but they're barely animating the characters outside of that too.
Let me help.
Sonic's expression isn't changing here. Tails' mouth is barely moving. They look like goddamn Muppets.
With your help, this should be a piece of cake.
There's more animation in the adventure games.
Does Sonic just freeze up there?
Would you be surprised if that is the case?
It looked like he just stopped mid-run and was just immobile until it went to the loading screen.
Load, damn it!
Oh, this is miserable.
Load! Come on! Remember how quick the loading times were in the adventure games?
Yep.
Okay, so I need to get over there. That's where the first adventure stage is. But I can't do the lightspeed dash. I gotta go find it first. Why can't I just go straight into the stage? So freaking stupid. Thankfully, I know
Why
what to
doesn't-
do.
Why doesn't he know how to do the lightspeed dash?
Because these hub worlds have to serve some sort of purpose. But here's an idea. Why do you need hub worlds? And here, like, it's
Another
better not to
loading
have them.
screen?
It's better for the pacing. So yeah, I need to start a mission in order to get the rings to pay for the lightspeed shoes. So we got a loading screen for entering the mission. But you know what
You have
this
to
loading
pay
screen is?
for lightspeed shoes?
Okay, so now he's telling me what I need to do for this mission. And now it's actually loading the mission.
Oh my god. We could have bypassed all of this by just not having a hub world. What even is this?
Padding.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't even talked about the controls. Ugh. Missed the ring.
Oh, looks like they gave you plenty of time to do it at least.
Another loading screen.
Are the levels like this too? Full of loading screens?
Would you be surprised if I said yes, Steffi?
No.
It's a shame that the art style is so bad here, because I do like this render of Sonic.
Too easy. No
I always
sweat.
hated that they started making him shorter in later games. Like, it felt like the character was growing up with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so once this loading screen is finished in another eternity, I need to talk about the actual controls here. I feel like this is going to go on a lot longer than we think, Steffi, just because of these damn loading screens. Okay, so in regards to the control, like in the adventure game, Sonic does take a second to build up speed, but the problem is that once he has that speed, like, he can still turn on a dime, so, and he doesn't lose any speed when you do, so the controls just feel off, and it's real finicky too. It's hard to be really precise, especially when you're in the air. And I'm sure you guys have noticed the slowdown too, so that's not any fun. The controls here just aren't very good in general.
Hey,
Let's get our
On my
lightspeed
end,
shoes.
it looks like you're... On my end, it looks like you're dropping frame rates too when you're running around.
That's not just on your end, Steffi.
Okay.
And believe me, that's not my capture software or anything. That is just the game itself.
So again, they made this hub world and put Sonic in it, and it can't even handle Sonic being in it.
It is not optimized in the slightest. It makes Batman Arkham Knight on PC look optimized.
Well, Tails just died.
When does Tails not kill himself in these games? He's invincible. He'll come back.
Is that the homing attack?
Yes. Load.
I gotta hurry and save Elise.
Oh gee, a beach level. This doesn't look familiar at all.
Oh, are we gonna see the whale?
Would you be surprised if you do?
No. I mean, I guess when this game came out, it wasn't happening as frequently, but like nowadays, so much of Sonic is just remaking over and over and over what they've already done.
Yeah, and they were already doing that in 2006 because this is basically just a lesser version of Emerald Coast.
Yeah, but is this the only one that's like a copy of something else?
I'd
Or
argue
is
that
the rest of this game full of copies.
I'd argue that every level in this game is full of copy design. It
Okay.
might look a little different, but
What about that one level that they put in Generations? That seemed like a more unique level.
oh, you're talking about Crisis City?
Yeah, that one.
It makes me think of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I could see that.
And like, it's such a boring level too, and it doesn't look as good. Like,
They'll cut down my ranks bit by bit.
this game came out years after Sonic Adventure, yet this level just doesn't compare in the slightest.
If I find the one issuing orders, I can defeat everyone at once.
There's also something really unsatisfying about the homing attack too. I don't know what it is, it just doesn't feel as satisfying as it did in the adventure games, or even Sonic Heroes for that matter. This feels a lot slower too.
These
There's your-
water segments are very slow.
Yeah,
Yep,
why not?
there's the whale and the boardwalk, and he's destroying the boardwalk.
Yeah, and that whole set piece looks far less impressive than it did on the Dreamcast, doesn't it?
Yeah. What is this? What in the world?
Yeah, now I'm playing as Tails, who, despite being able to keep up with Sonic in all his past adventures, is slow as molasses here. And his attack, for whatever reason, are the ring bombs from Sonic Heroes. Like, what? Did anyone on this team play Sonic Adventure? Well, obviously they must have played Sonic Adventure because they're ripping it off with this level.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ugh.
It's like they just Googled, what did people like about Sonic Adventure? Okay, copy paste.
It's not working.
Tails, hurry up!
What do we care if the orca gets out anyway? It's not even supposed to be in these waters. It should be up in the Arctic. They'll probably die if it stays here.
Yeah, why is Sonic bothering with this?
Why is Sonic bothering with any of this? What is he doing in Soul? Well, honestly, I don't need to question that. Sonic was probably just passing by and decided to help. But like the story in this game, I don't even want to get into the story here because it's just dog shit. Like I am openly swearing on this one. Steffi, be sure you call me out if I drop any F-bombs.
All right.
Because I'm not supposed to do that. I promised my mother I would not drop F-bombs in my videos if I can help it. And now we got the high-speed sections, and these are just awful because, again, the turning is just so temperamental. Like, when you're going at high speeds like this, you want to be able to make subtle adjustments, but just running in a straight line is a pain in the ass.
Sonic's feet aren't even touching the platforms.
Yeah, these were the sections of the
Mama
game
Newman, you might have to forgive him for this one.
Like, I can't even run. I gotta adjust myself just to keep off the walls here. Yeah, you see that ramp right there. You think that'd be a shortcut. I'm not even gonna try to get that. I am taking the easiest route possible.
Oh, this camera is so shaky.
Camera in this game is just crap in general. And like in previous
Look at
Sonic...
that. His feet aren't even touching the ground.
And like in previous Sonic games, when you got to the goal ring, it always felt really satisfying because, like, you hit a jump, you land on the goal ring, the screen goes white, Sonic says something, then you get, you know, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's just not satisfying here.
This one is just, oh god, it's over.
It's just a slog. Such a boring level. And like, admittedly, there are some parts of this game that are not as bad as a lot of people make them out to be, I must admit. But when it's not that bad, it's just boring. So if the game's not pissing you off, it's just boring you to death.
I just can't win here.
I just find it hard to believe that there are people out there who actually enjoy this game, like, unironically, too. Like, they think it's a genuinely good game. And usually, I am accepting of stuff like that. I mean, everyone has their preferences, but, like, it's hard to defend this game, for crying out loud.
Wait a second. So they found a feather, and Tails was like, oh, Eggman went somewhere else. Let's go. And then he runs off in one direction, and Sonic runs off in the opposite direction.
Steffi, don't question it. Don't bother.
So confused.
I don't care. Like, I've already said, Steffi, the story here is dog shit. Just don't talk about it. Alright, now I gotta remember where I go next. If I remember correctly... Oh yeah, I know what to do. I need to go get something else from the shop. Because apparently Sonic can't do everything that Sonic is supposed to be able to do yet. He's gotta buy the abilities from a shop. And I just killed Tails again. Anti-gravity. You would think that would make you jump higher, but this is actually the slide move.
And it's the don't touch the ground move.
You know, I've always heard that Sonic moves so fast that his feet don't touch the ground, but this is just ridiculous. That's just so finicky. Quit your belly aching. I don't care. You're creepy. You're too realistic. And I feel like you should be freaking out at the cartoony hedgehog that, for some reason, just exists in your world. Like, as much as I hate to give the film's credit, at least they designed Sonic and his friends in a manner where they at least fit the realistic setting. Like, here they just do nothing of the sort.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that, I mean, if I was a character in this game, I do feel like Dr. Eggman would be the more present threat than this weird cartoony hedgehog. Just saying.
You're a good girl, Elise.
Okay, so here's an interesting question, Steffi. Who do you think people hate more? Do they hate this character, or do they hate Chris Thorndike more?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Mr. Sonic.
So,
Only Sonic.
I don't
Now then,
know a ton about this
I'm
character,
so glad
but
that you came.
I
I know that people hate Chris Thorndike because Chris Thorndike made Sonic being there all about him, to the point where he didn't even want to let Sonic go home because I'll be lonely. You're my best friend.
Hedgehog, to be more precise.
So unless she does something to top that, I'd say Chris Thorndike.
How about falling in love with the blue hedgehog?
Tails.
Got it. Let's go.
Wait, really?
Yeah, she kisses Sonic. On the lips.
Ew. I mean, I knew that, but
And yes,
An early breakfast
they
for
do
my pet.
make that clear. There is a romance between them. And no, it is not subtle.
yeah,
There's
that's disgusting.
There's one point in the game where you have to make a choice between your two loves, and the two loves are Amy Rose and Elise. And I think the game is expects you to pick Elise. And when I got to that part, I was just so frustrated with it. And with the recent IDW comments, I actually do like Sonic and Amy as a couple. So I went with Amy, and the game still let me progress. I don't think it expected me to do that. And then there's this boss, which is about as threatening. Oh, spoke too soon. Grinding up the tail.
Sonic, make him run into something.
Good idea, Tails.
I can finally see your face. Now it's my turn.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
this is so slow.
Yeah, unsatisfying too. This boss isn't threatening in the slightest. And it's so hard to keep your eyes on the boss too, because the camera just will not rotate fast enough, especially when you're running.
So I'm curious, after what you told me about the whole romance with Sonic and Elise that's being pushed, where was somebody on the development team like crushing on Sonic and
I don't
wanting
know.
to live through that experience themselves?
I don't know, Steffi, but I'll tell ya, they should have never let this story through in the first place. What they should have done is, as soon as the writers brought this story to them, the guy in charge should have slapped them across the face, fired them on the spot, and got them some help.
Either that or it was a horny 12-year-old.
Would you be surprised?
I remember when I was like in ninth grade, I want to say, we had an assignment to like write a letter to a company, like proposing a new idea for that company, and I wrote to Sega, and I was like, you guys should make a Sonic game about this fan fiction that I wrote. And I actually did get a response back, and they were just like, yeah, for legal reasons we can't do that, but thanks for enjoying our games.
Yeah. They say that, and then they put this story forward.
Right?
Which is about the quality of bad fan fiction. Not just fan fiction, bad fan fiction, because some fan fiction can actually be really good.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, I don't care. And God, I get so tired of hearing His World. I used to think that song was so good, but these days I hear it and I just get pissed off. It's become a psychological thing for me.
Oh, no. Don't get PTSD from Sonic 06, Jaeger. I do want to make the comment that I'm glad we got at least one good thing from this game, which is the soundtrack.
How long is this gonna go on?
Yeah, not really.
Let's split up.
There are maybe one or two good songs in this game, Steffi, whereas every song in Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, or even Sonic Heroes is good, memorable. Aside from His World, Dreams of Absolution, that's all I can remember about the soundtrack in this game.
I guess that's true, but those two songs are bangers. What?
Yeah, there's a level where you have to carry this broad. Like, I've heard of some...
Dagger, don't use that term, please.
What term should I use, then?
Woman?
Okay, there are some levels where you have to carry this woman. And I've heard of some damsel in distress characters being called a load. That's basically what she is here. She just ruins the feel of Sonic's animation here. And like, you would think I can just run across the sand, but if you do that, you die. You have to use her magic power to be able to walk across it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and remember in the opening where Sonic put Elise down to fight some robots?
Yes.
He seems to be fighting them pretty effectively here with her in his arms, so what's the idea there?
He can homing attack with his feet.
Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, the explanation as to how Sonic can do the homing attack is through the use of spinning forward and sideways. He's able to change the airflow around him to control his trajectory in air. But he's not doing that with Elise in his arm, so how is he doing the homing attack?
He's just got magical feet.
God, this is lagging like hell.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness, this is awful.
Like, how did quality control at Sega think that this was acceptable to release?
They probably didn't.
Then why did they?
Because we gotta get it by Christmas.
Yeah, but, like, this game had incredibly negative repercussions on the brand. It really hurt Sonic's image to the point where, leading up to the release of Sonic Colors, they actually delisted it along with a bunch of other Sonic games because they felt that it was hurting the brand that badly. It's like, would it kill them to have just waited one more year? I mean, fans would have understood, and they would have been happy if you delivered one hell of a game, but instead, you give us this train wreck of a project, and I just don't understand what they thought they were doing with it. It's like, oh, they knew Sonic fans were going to buy this no matter how bad it was.
Yeah. What do you mean when you say that they delisted it?
They removed it from digital storefronts.
Oh, wow. So the only way to get this game is to buy a hard copy?
Yep. And funny thing about that, too, even though the game was primarily designed for the PlayStation 3, in North America, Microsoft actually struck up a deal with Sega to promote the game for the Xbox 360. So because of that, the porting team for the Xbox 360 demo of the game actually were able to give the game an extra coat of polish. So the camera got some tweaks, the homing attack has a more satisfying arc to it, and it just played better overall. But that was all she wrote on that front. None of those features that they added to the demo ended up being in the final product. So the best example of the gameplay in Sonic 06 is a demo that you can't play anymore.
Man, that sucks.
Sonic 06 in a nutshell. Ah, that was close. And, like, that's an example of bad level design there, because I couldn't see that sand the first time. And there's lots of level design like that. It's like, did anyone playtest this shit? Why am I even asking that? No, no one playtested this. Yeah, I ignore the enemies a lot in this game because I just cannot be bothered to care.
I mean, that's
shut up,
another
please.
thing about the game design, too. Like, why even bother to put the enemies in if you can just run right past them?
And there are just way too much enemies in this game. It seems like a lot of the level design prioritizes combat, which becomes more apparent when we get to Silver and Shadow, which we're about to get into here. I'm pretty sure we're about to do the infamous fight with Silver.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, I know exactly how to do this one. But it's still a little tricky, given the nature of the camera, making it difficult to do what you're supposed to do.
So, Jagger, would you like to explain why this fight is so infamous?
So, Silver's main form of attack is picking Sonic up and splattering him against the wall. So if you run straight at Silver, you will be picked up and splattered against the wall. But if you land on some rings when he does that, Sonic won't die, but he'll immediately get picked up again and splattered against the wall, but he'll keep landing on that ring. And because of that, it just goes and goes and goes. It's just a never-ending death loop.
Don't say that.
Hey, Steffi, it's one of those romantic moments. I totally ship these characters.
This is awkward.
Smile.
Yes, yes it is. And, and again, it's out of character for Sonic because... Sonic isn't interested in a romantic relationship. He's more attached to his freedom than anything. It should be about him wanting to help Elise because it's the right thing to do, not because he has a personal attachment to her. And where the hell is this? Weren't they in the desert?
Mention the flames of disaster.
They were in the desert.
Is that why he's after you?
Yes. The name of the sun god our country honors is Solaris. It is told that Solaris' rage would destroy the world. His wrath comes in the form of the flames of disaster. 10 years ago, we almost faced the full force of his fury.
Yes, an exposition dump.
I was a child then, so I don't remember it very well. I lost my father then. And now that man is trying to cause the same disaster.
Why are
again.
her legs so tan?
Too.
Maybe she's wearing pantyhose or something, I don't know.
Sonic!
I feel like she'd have to with a dress that short.
I can't run that fast.
Don't
Yeah, but you can get, like, nude color pantyhose.
Why are we even asking this, Steffi?
feels great, doesn't it?
Yes. I've never run so fast before.
Nothing starts until you take action. If you have time to worry, then run.
Okay, who wrote that line? How about what you see is what you get? Just a guy who loves adventure. And now we're in the city all of a sudden.
He's trying to give her advice, so I don't think that line really applies.
Iblis trigger. Your actions will condemn us all. Who are you?
You know, apparently Silver's design upset a lot of people because they thought the quills on his head looked like a pot leaf or something. And I am dead serious about that, Steffi.
I wasn't really thinking that until you said that. I thought it kind of looked like a palm, like an open palm. High five.
Originally, Silver was supposed to be a mink or something, but with a more playful attitude too. But at some point, they decided to give him a more edgy design and personality similar to Shadow. Not sure what they were thinking there. I guess they still were... Ah!
Well,
basically wait for him to say that, and then you just get him while his attention is drawn away. See, that's what I'm trying to avoid. Thankfully, he didn't get me in the loop there.
yeah, you got free from it. Oh, he takes a lot of hits, too.
I do like Silver as an opponent for Sonic because he is something of a hard counter to the blue blur. Yeah, Sonic can break the sound barrier, but it doesn't mean anything if he can't touch the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw you, Silver.
Well, you took care of that pretty quickly.
Yeah, thankfully. If we were doing this live, Steffi, we would be,
No sweat.
like 3/4 of the way through the stream. Really need to get to Silver.
Are you planning on doing 2 levels each for both characters?
I'm probably only going to do 1 level each for Silver and Shadow just for the sake of time, and also because their gameplay is significantly worse than Sonic's.
Really?
Yeah, but thankfully, they go straight into an action stage, so we don't gotta go screw around in a stupid hub world, thankfully.
So, Sonic's the only one that gets the hub world?
They get the hub worlds too, it's just they don't start in a hub world like Sonic does.
Oh, okay.
They do what you're supposed to do. You see the opening cutscene, and then you go straight into a level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey.
Yeah, that one coming, Sonic.
Is this a joke? How could someone like you cause the destruction of our world?
Have you not met Sonic?
Oh, here come grabby hands.
For the sake of the future, the Iblis trigger must be destroyed. Elise?
Yeah, and Silver's voice actor sucks too. Why would they
Is it
go with
another
that
4
voice?
Turn your back on
Is it
me.
another 4Kids guy?
I'm sure it is, but I have no idea who he's voiced.
Amy? Get out of my way, Amy. This is my mission.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and this is something else I really don't like about this game. Sonic characters just show up out of the blue in this game.
Leave it to me.
Like, it makes sense for Tails to be here because he's always following Sonic around, and I guess Amy too, but Knuckles is here. I don't know why he's here. Shadow, Rouge, Omega. Everybody is here. Why is everybody all of a sudden in Soliana? They're not that close to each other. These aren't people who spend all their time together. They cross paths every now and again. Like, Knuckles shouldn't even be... He should be up on Angel... Why am I even questioning it? Alright, so in order to switch to a file where I have everything unlocked, I gotta switch to a different account because apparently you can't have multiple files on one profile, which is stupid. Not sure who designed that.
So how much did you have to play of Sonic's campaign to get the other characters?
Not much. Too much, though. Like, any amount of time I have to spend playing this is too much.
I mean, that's totally fair.
God, this game just sucks. But we're almost done. Just gotta get through 2 more levels. And then I will have my revenge.
What do you mean your revenge?
No,
that doesn't sound right. You're getting so crazy that Discord is like cutting your voice out.
Hopefully they don't decide to send me to a mental institution for this. Alright, so... yeah, let's do Silver first, since we just fought him.
This world
Makes
was
sense.
devastated before I was born. A harsh, bleak place where we live in eternal darkness.
Oh, did the Black Arms come
It was
back?
a struggle, and people live without hope. How did this happen?
He can fly?
No one will answer it directly.
Yes. Yes, he can.
But they always point to the flames.
It's just a very unimaginative dystopian future, too.
These flames, they burn away at my world, destroying everything in their path. They come from an eternal life form that we cannot truly defeat. The flames of disaster, known as Iblis.
Silver!
Blaze, what's wrong?
Oh yeah, I forgot she was here, too.
So does this take place in Blaze's dimension?
Nope. They forgot that she's supposed to be from another dimension. God, I hate this game. I hate it so much.
I love what they did in, like, the newer Sonic games where Blaze happens to be there and she's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to come and visit.
Yeah, and she always
Like
picks the worst times to visit. Or best times,
does,
depending on
but-
how you look at it.
Yeah, but, like, they explain it at least.
And it's funny how even though, like, they acknowledge that in, like, comic books and everything, she and Silver still do have something of a relationship. It does work. The two characters
Like a
from...
romantic relationship?
That's what they always hint at. Alright, so... one of the gameplay concepts that they had for Sonic 06 was they wanted the players to interact with objects that had their own physics. So that's how Silver and his telekinetic powers came about. And it was just
cool.
Yeah, but it's just a dumb idea because that's not what you want to be doing in a Sonic game. So basically how Silver's powers work is you push the R button and he'll telekinetically manipulate any object that's within a certain vicinity, and then you can fling it forward with the square button. Then you get to places like this.
So, if Silver's able to fly, why is...
He can only fly when he's not in gameplay. Even though the character can naturally fly, In
Oh,
comic
there he
books,
goes.
he can only do so as long as the gauge is filled.
Oh.
Otherwise, he can't fly, which is really, really dumb. Can use his telekinetics to create platforms that he can climb on, which is pretty cool. But again, like, does it look like I'm playing a Sonic game now?
I mean, other than the cartoony Hedgehog, no.
Like, I just don't understand what they were thinking with this.
Oh, that frame rate.
Yeah. Not only do they have to render all the objects that you can interact with, they have to calculate the physics too. It's just too much.
What do the fireboxes do?
They're basically TNT crates.
I can wipe them out if I hit their pipe, right?
I don't know. I'm just gonna go. And I hate how slow Silver is too.
Well, he's not Sonic.
Yeah, but couldn't he use his telekinetic powers to, you know, make himself move faster? I mean, if
I don't
Tails
really
can...
know. I just don't know enough about telekinesis to know if that's possible.
Well, he can fly using his telekinesis. Why can't he use it to make himself go faster? Levitate himself off the ground and just push himself forward at high speeds, which he can do in the comics!
I mean, that's still kind of flying, I think. Like, to make yourself move faster, you make your muscles work overtime, essentially. But if you're just propelling yourself forward, that's not much different from flying. By the way, I do remember the soundtrack from this level. That's another memorable soundtrack from this game, for me at least.
Oh, please, you probably only remember it because you've heard it so much, playing Sonic Generations.
Yeah, but I like it.
If you say so.
Like, this was one of those tracks that I would go and listen to, and like, outside of playing the game.
Honestly, in Sonic Generations, I would always replace it with something else, and when I did the classic stage, I would replace it with the Marble Stone theme.
Hmm. See, it would be really cool if you could make your own platforms out of stuff for this part.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, creativity takes time, Steffi, and that's something that they didn't have. And it also takes skill, which is something else that they clearly didn't have. Also, I find this really silly because metal beams like that aren't going to bounce back into place like that. You
No.
bend them like that, they're going to hold in place like that. Telekinetic powers aren't even that fun to use. This kind of feels like you're flinging mud at enemies.
But it's also just really slow. Like, you have to stop to use them, and it stops the progression. And that just doesn't work well in a Sonic game where it's supposed to be continuous movement.
Well, this was one of their main focuses during development, Silver's gameplay, so I have a feeling they didn't understand what makes a good Sonic game.
I guess not. They should have just called it Silver the Hedgehog. Then they'd have a title.
Yeah, market it as a sequel to Shadow the Hedgehog, let him have guns and have him swear like a bastard.
He could say the F word one time.
I did tell you that there actually does exist audio files in Shadow the Hedgehog of Silver saying that. of
Oh yeah, you
shows.
told me.
At least now we're playing as Blaze, who can at least... Even Blaze isn't fast. Yeah, good riddance.
Over. Oh, he's back. He died again.
Okay, I'm not gonna do that attack.
Situations with a lot of enemies.
So she
Yeah.
still has her fire abilities, which is good. That's consistency. What is the slow drop thing that she's doing, though?
How it seems.
I have no idea.
Like, are you doing that, or is that just the game lagging?
I think it's just the game lagging.
Oh, no.
We need to go across the building.
Are you surprised, Steffi?
I am not, but... Yeah,
This is nowhere near.
I keep getting my hopes up.
Like, every time I go to play this game, Steffi, I always say to myself, it's not as bad as I think it is. I mean, there's some good things in it, but nope! Every time I play it, I am just reminded of how terrible this game is, and it never gets any better. This is just
Well,
one of
you're-
those games. It's bad, and age has just been so terrible to it as well.
You're keeping it together. You're still with me, so I'm proud of you.
Just want this level to end so I can switch to Shadow and get his crap over with.
Yeah, this is a long level. Oh, no, it's not even a long level. It's just slow.
Feels like an eternity.
Why are there so many loading screens?
Because they obviously didn't have time to optimize the game. They had to skip the polish phase, I'd imagine.
Oh my gosh, the frame rate is just non-existent right now.
Yeah, I played some N64 games that run better than this.
It's so slow.
Watch out for things flying out of the tornado. Wait, how can I get...
Where did that come from?
That was weird.
Well, Sonic 06 is a weird game.
Yeah. Where did those cars come from? They just spawned from the inside of the building?
Where did this city come from is what I'd like to know. This isn't Soliana.
It's not?
Nah, Soliana doesn't have buildings like this. It's more like Venice. Is this supposed to be Station Square or something?
I mean, it does look like Station Square. Does it explain where this is supposed to be?
I don't know. That was a very nondescript wall that I had to destroy too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, where the hell do I go from here? Ah, thank Lifeson!
Yay, it's over! That's not what you should be saying. But that's the experience we're getting from this game.
So yeah, Silver sucks. He's slow, his gameplay is unsatisfying, it's not polished, the level design isn't terribly good, it's just... What made you think that Sonic fans wanted to interact with physics-based objects, Sega? I mean, come on. The only physics you should be focusing on are the physics of Sonic moving at high speeds, for crying out loud. Polish that.
So, in 2006, was there, like, something physics-based that was popular at the time that they were trying to copy?
Probably Half-Life 2. That was a big deal with them. All the
Yeah.
physics-based puzzles from that game with the gravity gun and everything. But that made sense because the gravity gun was a really fun component of that game. And I'm not even going to bother with this boss fight right here. Like, you actually had to take into account the weight of the objects that you chose to fling at your enemies. But that's not the case here because most of what you're flinging at your enemies are just boxes.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Or cars.
You can actually pick up enemy projectiles out of the air and shoot them back, but again, not terribly satisfying either. God, this is a long loading time. Okay, let's get Shadow off the table so we can be done with this crap.
Yeah, I don't even know why Shadow's here.
Honestly, I feel like Shadow's inclusion was an 11th hour decision because they didn't start showing gameplay footage of him until they were nearing release.
Oh, look at this pre-rendering.
Yeah, it looks like crap compared to the first one, doesn't it?
It still looks better than the actual game, though.
Transmission from HQ. There's an SOS coming from Dr. Eggman's base. Our last communication with our agent was 26 hours ago. We expect an immediate rescue. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Understood. Initiating the mission now.
Yeah, now Shadow is an agent of Gun for some reason. I feel like that's the last thing he'd want to do after everything that they did to him.
Yeah.
But whatever. I guess he has no other place to go, and I feel like Gun really wants someone on their side who can go head-to-head with Sonic.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
What is he up to this time?
Yeah, and Shadow doesn't play a whole lot like Sonic. Or he might. He feels a lot slower because of the skating. I really hate his homing attack, though. When you make impact, you can mash the button to do more damage. But it just doesn't have the same bouncy quality that makes the homing attack so satisfying in the first place. It just feels sloppy.
The enemies are so floaty.
Yeah, well, gameplay honestly feels really slowly. He feels really slow in comparison to Sonic, even more so than he usually does.
Yeah, I don't know to attribute that to his movement speed or the game just being slow.
I think it's his animation. I have a feeling he probably moves about as fast as Sonic does. But because of the way the animation looks, he feels slower. Whereas Sonic, he's moving so rapidly. And I hit that
came out of nowhere.
Hit that switch, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. It's lit.
Is there another one I need to hit? Or is the game crapping out on me? Honestly, can't tell. Why am I saying the game is crapping out on me? It was crapped out the moment I put in my PS3. Oh. It did open the door that was directly in front of me. It opened a random nondescript door in another part of the level. And what is with all the combat here? This isn't what I want to be doing either.
Are you just button mashing?
Yep.
Lame.
Very.
Oh, you don't even open the door either. You get a warp hole.
So stupid. So stupid.
We got out of the base, but security
What?
really
Why is
high.
Rouge here?
Let's see.
I think she's the agent we were sent in to rescue.
Oh.
You don't want to get caught in the search that. You're going to have to.
I mean, she looks like she's okay.
Yeah. Just kind of skipping everything because I can. Yeah, and her attacker bombs, just like Tails. Again, I don't know why they decided to bring that in from Sonic Heroes.
Haha! Dr. Eggman is Shadow. Why you?
Yeah, and
Wow,
Shadow's
that
main
was nothing.
Shadow's main gimmick is that he can ride in vehicles.
Ah, just like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, because people love that aspect of the gameplay so much. And like in that game, this thing handles like garbage.
You need to destroy 5 searchlights to open the door to the outside.
Ah, seriously?
Ah, fetch quest.
Ugh!
The searchlight pillars are set. You need to use this one.
Oh no! Oh no! Jager, it's okay. You could stop here. We get it.
Yes. And now it's time for my revenge. Steffi, I am never playing this game again. Say goodbye. Make
Jager, you're
talk.
scaring me.
Now I got 2 games.
What?
Just destroyed it. Snapped it in half.
Well, that would mean you have 0 games, because it's not going to play now.
Yep. So what do you think of Sonic 06? Because I think that says what I think of the game.
Yeah, I second that.
Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's content. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I do videos like this every Saturday, and I typically do not destroy the games, but Sonic 06 is a special case. Basically what I do is I take a game, I play it for about an hour, and I talk about the design of it because I love that stuff. Assuming I'm not playing Sonic 06. If there's a game you'd like me to cover in this format, please leave it in the comments, and I will get to it at some point. Steffi, thank you for joining me for this video.
I hope I helped. Are you sure you're okay?
Well, I'm looking at the destroyed pieces of Sonic 06 on the ground now, so yeah, I'd say I'm in a pretty good mood all of a sudden.
I guess this is what you meant when you said you were getting your revenge.
I know this is the Game Preserve, but I just have a personal vendetta against this game. I do not care if it gets preserved or not. And I know people are probably going to ask what I think of Sonic Project 06, which is basically a fan-made project to, I guess, clean up Sonic 06, but while I will commend the ability of the programmers because it cannot be easy to sift through the mess of code that makes up Sonic 06, I just think it's a losing battle because the thing about Sonic 06 is everything about the game is bad. The story is bad, the graphics are bad, the art style is bad, the music, it's only good in little spurts. The voice acting is bad, the gameplay is bad, the level design is bad, the physics are bad, the controls, everything about it is bad. So if you want to make Sonic 06 good, you basically have to make a brand new game. I mean, there's not much here to salvage, but who knows? Maybe they will somehow change everything and it will be good, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes for it either, but I guess we could give it a chance.
I might just leave that up to you, Steph, because I really don't ever want to touch Sonic 06 ever again.
I understand.
Alright, guys, so y'all have a good night, and I'll see you next time.